Hey, it's 2 a.m. with Jason. Hope you are doing well. Um, this morning's message, just talked about authority, and it's from Luke chapter 20, and talked about whose authority it is, and as I read the hymn this morning from Edwin Orr, um, just that idea of humility that is needed in response to whose authority it is. And just got me thinking, there's two brothers who I'm sure none of you know, happen to get one of those little horses you can, goes up and down, you can ride. Um, and they fought and shared, and until the one brother turns to the other and says, if one of us got off, there'd be more room for me. To which you hopefully understand, in their mind, something needs to happen here, but it has to benefit me. And too often in our society, that's what the case is. It's all about us, and that's a hard place. That's there's no place in the church for that, and honestly, um, it gets really hard because there's no place in our families for that either. I know it's hard. I know it's a challenge for us because we do say, listen, I have worked so hard for this. I deserve to be able to put my feet up. I deserve for someone else to do the because I've done all this other stuff, and yet I continue to try to teach my kids, especially, there's no room for that if we're loving Jesus. It's not about you. It's not about you. Um, so Parks, the other day, he struggles a little with this. He's 5, and and the other day we were talking about something. He says, "Oh yeah, I knew that, and in fact, I knew that before you." And that kind of became a little catchphrase for a little bit, and we've been able to stop it now because but there's that it seems to be almost innate because it's not like we're teaching him this innate desire to be important, to be knowledgeable, to be the one. And um and again, I don't want to believe that my actions are pushing him to do that. But it has made me continue to look back and say, okay, how are there things that I'm doing and saying that are causing him to say, man, I have to have known this before you? And it cracks me up, but he's 5. Um, but you think about that. Okay, so it's not about us. It can't be about us being the special one and being the I know everything. Um, there's F.B. Myers tells a story about a church, and if this is years ago, turn of the century actually, and he said that the church was trying to have a revival, and the revival wasn't going anywhere, and so it really wasn't. They said, but we're doing it again. We're just doing it again, and on it was the second or third night of revival, the one elder stood up and said, I don't think we're gonna actually have revival until I make things right with another elder. His name was John. I don't think until we bury the hatchet, God's gonna do anything here. And some people in the congregation, I mean, they knew that like there wasn't good feelings there, and they said, "Man, I've that's crazy. That's crazy." And so people were kind of getting a little teary eyed, like how he says, please just take my hand and let's let bygones be bygones, and let's just praise God together. And in the middle of that, one of the other elders got up and said, Pastor, I have to confess, there's been some times that I've been saying things, to your face that are really nice, but behind your back, I've been saying some things that are not nice and not kind. And I just need to confess that and say that I'm sorry, and I'm going to try to, you know, I don't think he said live less duplicitously. I don't know whatever the word would be there, of living the double life. And but the reality is that the revival broke out, and it wasn't just in the church; it was in the whole community. Then, for between 2 and 3 years, lives were being changed and homes were being because people were able to say, man, you know what? It's not about me. I fall under the authority of God, and God desires for us to make things right. Our vertical relationship is demonstrated in how strong it is with our horizontal relationships. And so it's so important for you. That's my kind of my challenge for you today is there an area or is there a relationship where you say, man, you know what? That is where I am not doing what I need to do. I need to confess that to them. I need to confess to God and say, man, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Because I blew it. Start with God and see where you go from there. But God has great plans, and it requires us, though, to be humble and say, God, please forgive me. Help me to not come across as I need to be right, and this has to be about me, because it's your church, it's your family, it's your world here. How can I honor you with what I'm doing and what I'm saying? So anyway, just a thought, and hope you're challenged. Take care. Have a good night.